And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this week. Some cool new things have happened on the game. Progress. Um, I am becoming quite the multitasker, thanks to AI at the moment. um, I'm learning to accept my role as lead developer. What this means is I'm spending most of my time reviewing code, reviewing function and layout, designing plans, breaking up code and breaking up commands and on breaking up really large design plans for components into the AI, and having it implement basically stop points or pauses, places where it makes sense for me to validate. And then I have it give me steps. What things have been done and what can I do to validate and verify? So I go in, I run, I check the code. What have we done? What's it look like? And since we're working on finite pieces, I can go, oh, okay, so this is doing this and this is doing that. And I can kind of make sure everything's staying on track. But as I get to doing that, I'm starting to find that I have way more agents running at once. So I'm burning through code, which is good right now. And this is burning through tokens, like for Copilot. But I have GitHub Copilot, and I have Claude, and I have Bezi. So when I'm working on the front end, I have Bezi doing this, that, other thing. Bezi I don't use as frequently because right now it's like I do little bit pieces with Bezi. I don't let Bezi do too many major things because it's UI stuff, and you got to kind of be in control of UI stuff because you want to make it look right. If you know exactly what you want, sometimes it can put stuff in, but generally I just have it fixing stuff or helping me to fix stuff. Like I'll go in and go, okay, well, how do I do this? What's the trick? Why isn't this working? And then Bezi kind of helps me get back in line and tells me what I need to do, or sometimes it'll even fix it if it can. I don't let Bezi do too much coding unless, like I said, it's wiring something up on the front end. Now, so Claude does the grand majority of my work, especially right now. I'm really trying to take advantage of this 2-week window where Claude has doubled our token usage. And so I've been trying to max it out. It's really hard for me to hit it. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff going, but I keep hitting my pause points and verification steps. And so that takes time. And so I'm not as able to let it keep going. So sometimes I have to stop. So what I decided to do to really get it going is I have all these stop points and pauses for me to be doing work and verifying. So what I decided to do was actually I have several other applications that I wanted to start implementing. And I thought, well, shoot, I don't want Claude wasting time. I want to get to work and start doing these other things. So I started actually developing additional things that I had in mind already. I already had design plans and stuff in place. And I at least started having it work out and hash out how these are going to look, what they're going to lay out, how this is going to structure, what code are we going to use, what interfaces, what functions and features, are all going to be in place. And so, and in some cases, I actually, once we get the design going, I have it break it out into steps and pauses and, agent tasks that we can simplify and focus. And then I'll let it start doing like the initial steps, which in a lot of cases is just building up the project, inserting the necessary add-ins, extensions, whatever I needed to make that work. And so this week I only managed at 75% of my weekly allowance. And I was only able to max it out a couple of times through this thing. But I got really close. 75% isn't bad for a week. I wanted to get to 100, but plus I think in order to maximize, I need to do this in the afternoons. So it's tough because I don't get started until like 3 o'clock, and then 2 o'clock, I guess. Yeah, 2 o'clock is probably closer. But this week I got a lot of things in place. I actually was able to implement my system logging on the front end. That's still in progress. It's implementation points. I've got all of the services built out to do that. I created I just got done building. Well, I'm working on building. There's still errors happening, it looks like. What happened? Yep, we got a blow up here. Failed with output. See, it keeps doing this. I don't know why we hit these. Can't do a file name. And the thing is, it doesn't exist. That's what's driving me bonkers. It's like, what do you mean? The file does not already exist. Because if you go here and click, see, let's see if I can. So it goes here and it says the file already exists. It's trying to create this FTZF APK, but it doesn't exist. I don't know why it says it exists. Now, I think there's something wonky with my my connection here. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to build out the yeah, see, that changed again. Let's see if I can get this to run this time. I don't know why it keeps saying that. Environment setup section. It might be. Oh, now it says it's not there. Oh my gosh. I'm so. It's such a pain. All right. Now what? How do I fix this? I remember I had to do this the other day. And I'm trying to figure out why. Is it gonna go? Okay. All right. Well, let's try again. Let's see if that works. Hopefully, it'll go a little faster on the build. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm actually building and deploying to my device. So my app actually works on the device now. I can even load rosters on the device now. This is all in working on the other thing. Like I said, I was implementing a system logging. System logging is for the purpose of tracking all errors, all user problems, actions that are going on. If a user says, "Hey, this blew up when I did this," I can go, "Oh, okay," and then I can go look at the system, and if it blew up, it should have caught the error. That's the idea. System logging will go, "Oh, we got an error," and log it, and it'll tell me what user it is, so I can find out who the user. I find out the user's ID, I look them up, and then I can trace and see what error popped up. And in theory, it's even loading variables. So I'm kind of going through and making sure we're getting any data that came in through that particular process flow, allowing me to check, because I'll be able to look. They can tell me approximately when it happened, get their user ID, and then I can go in and look at the database or look at the tracing logs and go, oh, okay, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this is happening. Let me see if I can replicate or pin down what the problem is. So sometimes it'll be bad data. That's another thing that I've implemented. I've implemented a live data testing. It does sample testing, where it goes through and just tries to grab sets of data at periodic time periods. It's going to go through like once a day, grab a bunch of files and run a bunch of tests. It just does this, hopefully during the lowest peak times. Now, hopefully those lowest peak times are not that frequent. But so it's like when I first deploy, if I can run all the tests I want all day long and it doesn't affect anybody, that's a problem. That means I'm not getting, nobody's using it. So I want to be able to get it to where people are using it, of course. But what I'm currently trying to do is get that all in place. So I have the system logging working, have it online, and then of course with that is the offline mode. Now the offline mode, its whole purpose is to allow me to run the game on the device without my back-end network. Now you can't play everything that way because the way the game's designed, there are user leagues having multiple. You're going to probably have AI players in every league, but you can have like your friends or just random people, depending on how it's set up, join your league. And since these are dynamic games, in other words, you don't run them. The game runs on their own, but you control your team. You can control your, you can set up your playbook and your game plans, and kind of your base structures on how you want your team to perform. Even your training. Now, training is the last thing I'm doing, right? Because training is important, but it's the thing that comes to just kind of improve and better your players as they exist within the game. But it is not necessary for the game to function from end to end. So that's what I'm working on. I'm trying to get to an end to end. So game plan has been big on my current list. But as I did game plan, I was running into the issue that I don't have the full infrastructure to go from game plan to simulation. So I decided to go, I needed to get those parts in place. So a lot of that was not only getting the roster to load, but I needed the game plans or the playbooks to load. And I don't need necessarily the user playbook. I do need the default playbook. And the default playbook needed functionality to be able to load all the available plays in the system. The default playbook doesn't care. It owns all the plays. That's the default system. But it only puts a certain number of plays into the playbook, which become available to the user. So the users all get, as their default first plays, they get, it won't even tell you you earned those plays, right? You just get them. They're in your user playbook. But that's only the plays that are in the default game plan. So the default game plan might have things like punts and kickoffs and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have all the types. It'll probably have like one play of every type. It's going to have very small, very basic, just the stuff to run necessarily. And you'll get those plays because all plays that come up through the default play game plan will be available to the user. And then at the beginning of everything, there's just a lot of opportunities to earn new plays. So you're going to constantly get new plays. You're going to get new plays to start the game. Maybe it'll give you 4 or 5 plays to start. And then you might earn plays just for various achievements and accomplishments throughout. Now, I want to be able to give users things like collection points. Just give rewards. I want to be able to give rewards. Unfortunately, since I am not a graphics guy, I want to give functional rewards. Now, these have to be things that are usable, things you can do stuff with, but don't break the game, right? So I don't want to do stuff that's like makes you better just because you did this or the other thing. Your teams have to improve through the normal processes of training and playing. What is that? Apparently my YouTube backend has decided to show a commercial. I was listening to music, help, go away. So you can see my Claude so far, I've got it up to 70% with 1 hour to go, which isn't terrible. I've got it cranking pretty good, doing a lot of different things. But unfortunately, I have gotten to the point where hold on, I gotta check some files in. So, all right, so I did that. We have quite a bit going on here. So I got pretty good today. Unfortunately, it's like the second half of this is your free stuff. So as you can see, I'm not really hitting it, especially I've only got an hour to go. You usually go through 15% of the week each time you max this. But it's kind of hard for me to max it at this moment. So, which is fine. I've really been cranking at it, which is really what I wanted to do, just kind of get max, and eventually I'll have the whole week to try to max it out. So I came up about 20%, 20 25% short. I only got 75% last week. So that means a full day's worth, a full session's worth of time I lost out on. So got to keep working to make that hit. I got a whole week of this next one though. And we will continue to dude, what is that? Huh? Oops, that might not. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, let's see if we got anywhere. Did my app start? No. Did we still blew up? Still blew up. Okay. What is going on? Cannot create a file when the file. What is the problem? What do you mean the file already exists? Nothing. Why doesn't anything just work? It's like everything's got to have a problem. All right, let's go see if AI can help me with this. I don't know what's going on. Let's turn this off. All right, AI, tell me what's going on, man. I'll just ask this one. Yeah, yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's definitely, these builds are definitely not, I haven't figured out the let's make it work every time strategy, which is kind of unfortunate. Now I could probably do something along the lines of a, I don't know, maybe it could be my cord, maybe, I don't know. Because you keep hearing it beep. That's it disconnecting, so I don't know why it's doing that. A very unique build pipeline bug, and the key detail you gave the device actually give away. The error has nothing to do with the device. It's failing before deployment inside Unity's B build cache. Oh. Unity 6's B pipeline generates intermediate Android. When Unity tries to write a file to that folder, B sees a stale file or stale directory entries. This happens even when the file doesn't exist on disk because B's internal dependency graphs think it does. This is why the build completes, but build and run fails. The error is triggered by one of these, a stale B cache. After Unity restarts or package update, Unity 6.2 cache is notoriously sticky Android plugin. Fixes that actually work, ranked by effectiveness. Delete only the B Android artifacts. Close Unity, then delete. Close Unity, then delete. Reopen Unity, build and run again. This resolves the issue 90% of cases. Okay, so I don't know. It's such a pain to get into Unity. Where is that? Where is that at? Is there an easy way to, can I get to it in here? Let's go here. So you get to see how to, if this works, how to resolve the Unity being a jerk when it comes to building your Android device. So is there a library here? There's no library here. Is it in here? No. Okay, so it must not. I'm thinking I have to go into here. Reveal File Explorer. See that beeping? That's the thing, losing access to my folder for some reason. I don't know what's causing that. See, I don't know where this library, where is that? Assets. It's at the same level as assets? Assets. Oh, here's library. Oh. B. Just says dump B, right? B artifacts. I did not close it. We're going to see if that matters. It said close it. It said close Unity. I'm like, yeah, you know. We'll try not doing that. Let's see what this does. All right, so it did build the artifacts folder again. I see it build. All right, we'll see what that does. With any luck, I can. My goal is to build this and show you kind of what we have. But I have trouble with the builds because it's stupid sometimes. But yeah, it's pretty slick. I could probably even, once I get this going, maybe I could even run it here on my, I could share it to my device. Now, you're going to note that right now, it seems my stream is running pretty good, but there have been times when I do all this extra stuff and my my performance on my app goes way down. So I've been rebuilding my Docker files so that things can run in other environments. Oh, geez, I didn't even know it ran this test. I have my other app building, and it's using Docker as well. So that's cool. I mean, I didn't know it was doing that, but I'm good with that. I want these are so dead. This is like, these are the Pro Football Fantasy Manager, which was the very first iteration of what my game was called. And then it became the FPFM, Fantasy Pro Football Manager. And then I thought, nah, I need a real name. Because that just sounded dull. And I finally came up with and settled on FanToZ Football, which is kind of the name of my board game I created for football. So I feel like that was an appropriate name because a lot of my underlying stats skills are defined from the same formulas that I use for the board game. How are we doing? Still building, man. Now I've got two kind of blocking things, but it'll be done when it's done. Okay, so Not much else going on other than those things. It's been a big, busy week, and I've been wanting to do a state of the game for several weeks now, but it seems like I've always had the game in a state of not too much visible stuff. And as you can see here, I don't have a lot of visible stuff for you because it isn't running at the moment. Once, I mean, I could actually run it and show you where we are. I have to do that from the, I'm not going to do any more here because it's blocking me. Now the incremental builds are usually pretty fast, but I don't, and so I would have thought that after it built, probably because it failed, and probably because I deleted the initial build, because I deleted the B folder, thing probably broke down a little bit there. So tomorrow we get up bright and early and we drive all the way to Burlington? Yeah, I think it's Burlington. We're going to another dog adoption. What do they call them? Dog adoption party, gathering, whatever they call them. Some place is coming from Texas bringing a bunch of dogs with them. Apparently there's a lot of dogs in Texas because there are, whenever you're online looking for, like you go to Pet Finder or whatever, there's pet, adopt a pet, rescue dogs. You'll look at them and they say, this dog's in Texas. I'm like, what the heck, man? So when dogs run away, do they run to Texas? I mean, is there like a dog magnet in Texas? That all these dogs end up in Texas? Because it's crazy how many dogs are in Texas. And a lot of times they'll transport those dogs to various places around the country. And so they do periodically come up here to the Northwest. And the sad thing is, there was a company that came up last month, and we went to their pet adoption, whatever the heck it's called, and we didn't see too many things that were all that interesting. They did have one dog we kind of liked, and we kind of really thought we liked it a lot. We probably would have got it if it wasn't for the fact that adopting a dog from these people is really expensive. It's like $750. We bought a purebred Brittany, well, 13 years ago. A purebred Brittany. And she cost us only like $700, I think. Now, granted, it's probably more than that now, but still, I mean, these are rescue dogs. So generally transport is somewhere between $200 and $300 depending on who's transporting it and whatever. So if we take off the max 3, that's $450, which isn't terrible. $450 is not bad if you're getting a dog locally. But you know, there are rescues that it doesn't cost that much. I was down in there was a dog I was thinking of getting. It was like 3 years old. And it was $400 with transport. So she was only like a $200 dog, and she was a nice looking dog. And I'm still kind of got her in my mind, and I'm leaning that way. But I was kind of hoping to find a dog a little bit more, you know, local, save a little bit of money. There's also the pet classifieds where you can supposedly get free dogs, but you got to be careful. You know, you never know what you're up against when you get a free dog. So that's just me wasting time to tell you, you know, just trying to burn clock time while I'm waiting for this stupid thing to build. You'll see here, I have got now, I think about 18 services running. I've got, I just recently created this one, which now when I start my services, this prompts me to build the AAR, which is a new Android file, which compiles all of my code so that those things can be called within the application. So within the offline services. So that builds the offline services so that everything can function offline when we disconnect from the online network. Then we have system logging, which this is a system logging and AMG Auth are my authentication and system logging services that I built to be autonomous. They run without any other application code. They're so basically any other application can create a gateway and call these items on my services, and they will process for me. They have their own endpoints that have to be called, and they get authenticated against whatever user's trying to execute. So nothing, in other words, nothing runs on them without an authenticated user ID, which has to be passing through OAuth or whatever, and has to be validated to make sure that it's not just some rando hitting my services. Then we have all of the game services that are specific. We have game plan, playbook, streamers partially built, but I kind of stopped on that, at least for now, because that's a bonus feature. That's a thing that's going to be cool that you lay on top of the game when it's running. But it's got some basic functionality. User account, obviously the stuff that you're going to be doing on your account pages. A simulator, this is the thing I want to get to. This is the key item to getting everything end-to-end ready, having a full demo, which is really what I'm trying to get to right now. But that requires all these other parts to be in place, which meant I had to build my coach service, which now I have coach cards that are part of the build on your initial application build. How are we doing here? Don't want to be too distracted. And then we have the coaches are also where the AI is. The AI is linked to the coaches, and they use special logic that has them tweak and adjust to their game plans. So these coaches are not fixed. They have a tendency. They look at the root default project or default game plan, and they make changes to it according to how certain things are succeeding within the application. So we say, this one's failing a lot, this one's failing a lot, let's try this. And each coach has a different let's try. They try towards passes, they try towards runs, and they lean. That's what they have tendencies, pass and run, and they'll go grab different kinds of pass and runs. And some coaches will have different success doing that because they'll have different players. So in theory, they can adjust for making a play more successful. So it could try different things constantly, maybe until it finds one that succeeds, and then give success points and keep trying new things, and just kind of always adjust. And that's the idea, that these coaches will attempt to make their game plans better over time, and they learn, and then in every new iteration of that coach. So if another player comes along, creates a new league, is going to get different levels of that coach. So there's three difficulty levels: rookie, veteran, and pro. At rookie, they learn from the dumbest coach, and they learn slower, so they don't do as much, and they only learn from rookie coaches. Veteran coaches learn from rookie coaches and veteran coaches, and they learn a little faster. They'll make adjustments quicker and try to make things better faster. And then pro is, of course, the one that can learn from any coach. They always get the best coach when they start, when they copy, and then they build off of that best coach's game plan delta. So they always affect the root, but they get a starting point. Now they only learn from themselves. So let's say Jeff Fisher, who's not coaching anymore, I don't think. But he used to coach the Titans in the year of my base data. If Jeff Fisher was coaching, he would learn from other Jeff Fishers. So, and then the root game plans, the pass, the run for each rookie, veteran, and pro, they learn from all coaches. So they kind of find what's working in all the coaches and what's most commonly successful, and it will automatically update and reduce the deltas for those coaches. So basically, this happens in all the coaches, then we'll use that one here. And so it'll slowly improve the roots. So every new coach works off of those roots, but gets the copy of their self. So Jeff Fisher will always get the worst rookie, Jeff Fisher. And the pro Jeff Fisher will always get the best Jeff Fisher, period, of all the Jeff Fishers. Which ones are the most successful? And then it'll build off of that. It'll build off the root for the Jeff Fisher. So there's different skill levels. So you may have a very successful coach that But depending on where you're at, the smarter, most successful deltas will always come at the pro level. So in theory, in time, the hope is that professional coaches are going to be way better at building game plans to be more effective against you, the player. And eventually, I'll have to implement as part of those AIs the drafting strategies, right? How do they fill their rosters, and what do they need? And now, one of the big problems with a lot of football games is trades. All trades, right? I mean, multiplayer trades, draft valuation, trying to come up with ways to improve your roster while giving enough value to make it fair. Now, everybody thinks they're offering too much. I mean, that's the rule, right? I mean, Denver just got, Jalen Waddle for their team, the receiver. Everybody said, big deal, but Denver gave away a lot if you're a Broncos fan. But people who are neutral are looking at it going, Denver didn't give away that much for a very good player. And so you got to be careful, you got to look at things from the outside. So it's tricky, though, to get that balance right. You want to be able to give people something that says, all right, I can give this up for this player, even if it's a little painful. Because really, in a trade, the hope is neither side feels like they ripped the other side off. You don't want that ever. I mean, of course, users want that. But you'll find that in a lot of games, the AI really doesn't offer up much because it's all we have to win. So if you want players from the AI, it's never an equal trade. You always have to give up what feels like a lot. And I want to be able to build it out different, but I don't know. Am I going to be better at that than other people? I feel like I'm very good at coming up with solutions for those kind of things, but I don't know. I haven't done it yet. So I've always felt like that's my brain work. Balancing logistics, coding logic to balance has always been my kind of thing. Even with board games, I do the same thing. I'm pretty good at coming up with ways to make things feel even and balanced. And now fun is the next trigger, right? So I have to always keep in mind that I'm building from a user's point of view. I love football. I want to put this on my device and play with it because it's fun. Not just because I'm trying to make it, I'm building it, but because I like doing it. I like doing the stuff necessary. Now, I've already found a couple of things that I got to work on now that I'm putting it on my device. Now, obviously, is this thing done and is it blown up? Did we blow up again? Oh my gosh, it did again. There isn't one. I just created it did say to restart the app. So it must be caching it. So I have to, oh my gosh. Well, let's see if there's a way, I do need to save. Let's go in here. And there's so much, though. I don't even know. Is there Android? I'm trying to see if it created the file. Somewhere. Let's see if there's a file here. Because I don't see it. I'm hoping it created it, and then I could just deploy it manually. Nope. It refused. Okay, so that's dumb. Well, it said delete these. Well, maybe I won't get this going right now. I wanted to get it going for this stream, but it's looking like it doesn't want to let me. It's really annoying, man. It's so annoying. Something as simple as just like, it's getting so hot. I turned off my heater because I didn't want to take my sweatshirt off. because when I go upstairs, it's always so cold, so I have to put a sweatshirt back on. So I need to keep the downstairs moderately equal to the upstairs so that I can go upstairs and not not have to reapply warmth. I will eventually do a state of the game video, not a stream like this, where I just go through. But this is a state of the game that lets you see what I'm doing when I'm doing it, but not as useful. No. I don't know why. I'm hoping it's a caching thing, because it's really irritating. Not being able to. And of course, it's going to take long because why wouldn't it? So I have this checklist I need to go through. And this is the one. I'm only on number 2. So, and in fact, this isn't actually right because this is playbook loads on device. And until I get this to build, I can't even do that. So go mobile sync fires. So I need to get both these going. So until I do. And this stupid error is a Unity error I can't seem to figure out how to get rid of. So apparently dumping that that file is not cutting it. Oh, we'll see. I mean, now I deleted it, so now I gotta wait for the full time again. So yeah, I am not sure what the answer is here because none of this is working. And I don't think I had to do that to get it to work before. So I was just hoping that would be a quick trick because what I did is I just kept fiddling with stuff until it finally worked. But it was nothing I could identify as to what it was. So what else did it say? What the error really means? So I did the close Unity and then deleted, but I deleted the whole artifacts folder, so it gets to create it new. Delete the entire library view folder, which I haven't done yet, but that may be next. And I won't torture you with that. I wanted to be able to show you this thing working, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get to that point. It's 6:30. It's probably a little late. So I think I'm going to have to do it next time. Till then. God bless. I'll be back later, but I'll probably be gaming or something.